Hard and soft infrastructure are like a home where the soft infrastructure is like foundation and hard infrastructure is like a superstructure. You can't have a superstructure, the hard infrastructure, without having requisite soft infrastructure. That soft could be in the form of social capital, it could be in the form of technology, skills, the several other soft components that goes into making a company or a cluster competitive. The hard infrastructure could be the things related to several of things that you know. And while the technology, as you rightly said, is basic to human success, I think the basic, much more basic than that, is BSP. I'm not talking about Behanji's BSP, I'm talking about Bijli Sadak Pani. And many of our industrial estates, many of our companies struggle day to day, on a daily basis, with the lack of power, lack of access to good roads, lack of good quality water, lack of effluent treatment. That's a daily struggle for existence. Whether it is our premier estates in Okla to one of the remote estates in one of the most backward states in today, and that's the problem where everyday basis people go through. What I would like to share, I will share a couple of the small films, 4 minutes each, where we are trying to address the requirements related to hard infrastructure, as simple as connecting road through a public-private partnerships, where industry groups, the government and institutions come together and conceive and execute a project. Similarly, I will also share a small case of the trained manpower. The skill development is very, very basic to the soft infrastructure. On one hand, we have the people. On one hand, many of the companies don't find the trained manpower. On the other hand, you have the large number of poor people in this country, where more than 40% live below poverty line. How do we connect these two? I will also share that. First, to begin with, a road project. It's in Orissa, and a place called Kenjore in Orissa.
From Palasponga to Bombay, the 28-kilometer long and dusty road with craters all over is now changing into a world-class road infrastructure. This road is a lifeline for movement of precious minerals in Orissa. Slow movement of iron ore resulted in inefficient operations and lower profitability for the industry, which in turn adversely affects local livelihoods and negatively impacts the state exchequer. Till last year, high levels of suspended air particles was one of the major causes of tuberculosis among locals. Such problems brought 21 industries together to form a cluster and register a company called Kyonjar Infrastructure Development Company Limited, or KIDCO. Noted industrialist and visionary Dr. P.K. Mahanti of Orissa Spongine Limited motivated the industries of the region and also invested the first 3 crores into the project. Facilitated by the IL&FS Cluster Development Initiatives Mumbai team, State Bank of India granted a loan of Rs 58 crores in June 2009. With the financial closure achieved, the project was an integral part of the overall infrastructure development plan of the state and aimed at improving the lives of people living in 90 villages in the region. To make up for the delay in execution, IL&FS Cluster Development Initiative has taken a hands-on approach since the last monsoon. The team on site is involved in procurement of raw material, managing the contract, drawing up schedules, and running of the batching plants, thus ensuring physical progress. Even though it is a challenge to take up the road work at a speed matching the quality standards, the efforts of engineers involved in it and their dedication have resulted in construction of 20 kilometers out of a total 28 kilometers road in a record time span of 6 months. With the road coming up, The cost of transportation of ore has drastically come down from rupees 3.75 per ton per kilometer to rupees 1.75 per ton per kilometer. Another positive impact is seen in the large number of Pakka houses that have come up in the local region. The impact of such an infrastructure project in a remote area has brought around a sea change. Commuting has become easier as bus services to Bhubaneswar have resumed. The ailing and the infirm can now reach the district hospital in 20 minutes compared to the 3-hour backbreaking ride earlier. Wayside shops are doing better now. The local weekly markets, popularly known as haats, are more vibrant with more customers able to travel from far-flung areas. The road that once offered nothing more than dust to the local people and the local flora and fauna is now a road to prosperity.
In normal course, what would have happened? The industries would have approached their parliament member or the minister, they would have gone to the district collector, they would have gone to the government, and series of representations, seminars and all that. Would have taken maybe 50 years to build this road because it requires 150 crore. And state like Orissa, where the resources are very, very limited, and the district is not one of those popular ones, one of the remote districts of Orissa, would have taken enormous amount of time and efforts to get this road done. The industry took charge. The group came together, these 15-20 industries, floated an SPV and approached the government. Government allowed them to toll, a concession was given, and together, collectively, they borrowed loans from SBI and facilitated by us and constructed. The numbers, 150 crore, 200 crore, may look very big, but the principles are important, not the number. If they could do that in states like Orissa, we can very well do in our Oakland to Mumbai to anywhere. It could be flame treatment plant, it could be road, it could be anything. The point is that can we collectivize efforts, can we build public-private partnerships, can we conveniently use the government support available instead of just lobbying alone. So the point I'm making is that it's not, time is not for blame game. Typically in industry scenario, associations tend to blame the government, government tends to blame the associations. Probably there is a case where both can work together, facilitated by institutions. That's the story that I wanted to share with that. The other one, similar kind of thing on skills. As I was mentioning, 2/3 of our students drop at the age of, at the class of 10. 40% of our people are below poverty line. 40% of our population is so-called youth. So we have the demographic dividend, but can we make use of it? Can we potentially leverage that to meet the industry's requirement of trained manpower? And if so, can we build a model where the government, industry and institutions can work together? As I said, all my presentation will be this theme of government, institutions and industry working together. In case of skills, again, we have launched a program for apparel industry and with the support of Ministry of Rural Development, meant for youth below poverty line to train them and place them in the industry. Because apparel industry, highly manpower intensive and which many of you also would face this problem of high turnout ratio, and you require the people but you don't get them in right time and in right kind of quality. So industry has a need. Government of India, Ministry of Rural Development has this objective of elevating poverty, bringing families below poverty line to the above poverty line. So therefore, we brought in a program where we train the youth below poverty line and place them in the industry. So first we identify the industry, company, how many people they require, go to the villages, identify the youth who are willing to undertake this job, train them and place them. And do with third-party assessment, certification and all that. That about 50,000 people we have done last 2 years. Every month we do about 5,000 people for apparel, leather, to the engineering and other industries. So I'll just show this example again. This is a case of Orissa, where we have extreme level of poverty and apparel industry, where the youth in Orissa are trained and are employed in industries elsewhere. This is self-explanatory.